Alright, so let's move on to adding the text to the movie poster. I'm going to come over to the toolbar and I'm going to make sure my foreground color is white. I can press the D and X keys on the keyboard to do that. And then I'll select the type tool. I'll click on the image and I'm going to type out the name of the movie. And you can type out any name you want. Mine's going to be Spanish Villa. I'll press the Enter key. Better yet, I'll double click on that type layer, and up here on the options bar I'll set the point size for that type. Select the Move tool, and it looks like to me I could probably decrease the letter spacing, so I'll double click on that type layer again and then go over to the characters palette. If you don't see the characters palette, it's located on the Windows menu and you'll find it right here. But on the characters palette, and I'll move this off the palette well for now. There we go. And right here, this is where you can adjust the letter spacing, which is called the tracking. You can set this to 0 and see how that looks. If it's not enough, then you can go ahead and decrease it even more. But I'm going to select the Move tool and just position the name of the movie right here underneath the people. And I'll probably go ahead and just make that a little bit larger maybe. Try that out. And that's probably too big, so I'll just decrease the point size maybe down to 40. And I'll zoom in here so we can see this a little bit closer. Now the name of the movie is pretty bland. It's just Spanish Villa, yes. But to make this just a little bit more interesting, I'm going to take the type tool and just select the Villa word over here and click on the foreground, and I'm going to make that red and then click OK. Now check that out. I like that much better. And so I'll position this over here. Great. And I've noticed that if you want the title of the movie to stand out even more, then what you can do is darken the background. So I can come over to the Layers palette and click on the clouds right here. And we can just make an adjustment layer for this clouds layer. So I can hold down the Option key, which is I can hold down the Alt key, which is the Option key on the Mac, and then come down here and select Levels and put a check in this box right here, click OK, and then I can move this black slider here just to the left or to the right, and that will make the background darker, but at the same time making the people's heads blend in better, but also making the name of the movie more prominent. It's more visible this way. And these are just all very basic things, you know. Now let's add the tagline for the movie. I'm going to go ahead and click on the topmost layer, change the foreground color to white. I'm going to click on the image and let's just put "There is no..." Well, I can put "There is only," and I'm going off the page here, so I can just double click on that and move this over a tad. Resize this down. There is only one secret. There we go. I'll select the Move tool. And when you're doing any type of typography, you want to keep contrast in mind. There needs to be a good contrast between the title. It could be a logo. You want a good contrast between the title or the logo and the tagline. So you can see that this, we can say this Spanish villa is the logo, but we could also have the tagline, and we want a very good contrast in between the two. And so I'm going to make this smaller, and by making the tagline smaller, we've created more contrast. Look at that. Cool. Well, let's see what else we can do here. We can add a credit block. And if you would like to learn how to create credit blocks, and credit blocks are the credits that you usually see at the bottom of movie posters and DVD cases, check out the movie credits video on this DVD, and I'll show you how to do that. It'll tell you more than you wanted to know about credit blocks. And there you go. Now, most of the time on movie covers, at the very top, we have the names of the actors and actresses. So I'm going to grab some text from the other movie poster that we created and paste that into here. And you can see that there is spacing between the names here. Well, instead of creating the names of the actors on just separate type layers, you can create them all on one type layer, and that way you know everything is aligned evenly. And then all you have to do is get it where you want it, but then you can just use the space bar. You can click the cursor somewhere in the middle and press the space bar to create the spaces in between the names, just like this. And just make sure the space on this side of the name, or on this side of the first name, is very close to the same space as it is on this side. You see that? And so we're getting nice, even, and please leave some room. Don't cram it all the way up to the top. Leave some room down like this. That will increase the readability. And then at the very top here, what we can do, now we have the actors up here, we can place something else down here, like a film, or how about this? A Mark Monsiardini film. I'll go ahead and make that a little bit smaller. Better yet, I have the Universe family here somewhere. And it's right here, Universe LT, and that is the one of the credit block fonts, and I can put that right up there. And to be very official, I'll just select film and make film a little bit smaller, and make A smaller. So I'll select the move tool and position that, and there we have it. And I'll zoom out, and then we will create our credit block and drag the credit block over to the poster to make it complete. And if the credit block is not visible enough on the bottom, and it's very important that this is readable, I'll make a new layer just above the gradient layer right here. And by the way, I'll go ahead and put this character palette back in the palette well. There we go. I'll make a new layer and call this bottom shadow. And then I'll select the brush tool with a nice large brush, and I'll select black. I'll turn down the opacity to 50%. I'll zoom out, and I'll just paint on the bottom of this poster like so, and that will darken it just a tad so the credit block is more readable. Look at that. Spanish Villa coming soon. All right. So there you have it. That's how we can create a movie poster in Photoshop. And we do have another tutorial, another video on creating movie poster number 2, which I show how to create light beams coming out of a haunted house or something like that. So go ahead and check out that video. And I hope you guys got a lot out of this and We'll see you on the next one.